All right, guys. So today is Wednesday, March 25th. So we are here for today. We're going to be looking at the workbook pages in Of Mice and Men. Chapter 2. So we'll notice that a lot of stuff happens in this chapter, and today I'm going to try to give you some page numbers of stuff as well. So we're still just in the bunkhouse. We're still getting to know all the characters, but some action definitely starts to happen. So 3 reasons why George confides in Slim. This one is always a tough one for people, and I'm just going to type them up here because it won't let me turn it sideways. But so for one thing, he is definitely lonely, right? He confides in Slim because right now he really only has Lenny to talk to. And we'll see that lonely, right? Like there's a part that said ranch guys are the loneliest guys in the world. 2, he does feel guilty about what he did to Lenny when they were growing up. So he wants to get it off his chest. And then finally, Slim is just trustworthy, right? Like it describes Slim as the prince of the ranch. Everybody just naturally trusts him. So that's a reason why, those are the 3 reasons why George sort of chooses to confide in. What color was the dress of the woman in Weed? Where have we seen this color before? What does this color symbolize? So I will tell you that this part is on page 41. And as far as what it symbolizes, it usually symbolizes danger. So you got to figure out what the color was and where else we have seen it. And where else have we seen this color? Think about right now, right? Like on this ranch, where have we seen it? In your opinion, George and Lenny's relationship is like, that's up to you. You pick what you want and then explain it. Carlson. So what's your opinion on him? Again, that's up to you. We meet Carlson in this chapter, so you're just thinking what you want about him. Making predictions. How do you think Curly's wife will feature in the rest of the story? Well, again, making predictions, that's on you. So the dream. I do want to go over the dream because the dream is pretty important. The details of what they long for, right? So we know that they want a small house with their own rooms near a river. So we got that part of the dream. They want some animals, right? Some pigs, rabbits, chickens, etc. They want to be able to like have a vegetable patch. Because remember, it says they want to live off the fat of the land, so they want to be able to grow their own food. They want to work for themselves whenever they want, right? They're not going to have a boss and be worried about someone else's time frame. Or they want to, finally, they can go into town for entertainment whenever they want to. So this is their version of the American dream. So let's think about this. Ms. Terrell, Ms. Van Arstel, Ms. Carrico, you all can answer this. Is that lifestyle appealing to you all? And again, students, you guys are going to come up with your own answers for that because it's opinion-based, and this is opinion-based as well. So what do you all think?
I think a lot of Americans, a lot of people in general want to be their own bosses, to be able to work when they need to, not work when they don't need to. Basically just to work for themselves and make money for themselves and not have to have a boss. And then that's what they were basically saying, right? If they wanted to go into town one day, that they could just not work that day and go into town and do what they wanted. They didn't have to ask a boss, or they didn't have to ask permission of anyone else in order to do that, which they've had to do their whole lives.
Yeah, I look at it also as like the American dream.
And I think it would be a satisfying feeling just to know, especially in their situation, that you can take care of yourself and have that independence, especially whenever they've had to rely on their employers and they've been shuffled around from employer to employer, just to feel like you're safe in your situation and that you can take care of yourself and what you need to do for yourself.
Right, because they're like migrant workers and they travel. So they want to have a home base.
And
Something-
that means stability for them, right? Instead of having to move from place to place and work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, I think the modern day equivalent would be like being completely debt free or something like that.
Mhm.
It would be nice to be able to rely upon only yourself for like your food. Like, I think that could be appealing.
Yeah, like the big trend in sustainable farms.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. If Slim were an animal, he would be blank, right? So that's just sort of fun, symbolic. Like, think of Slim's characteristics and what animals match that. Um, because, like, if you were to describe me as an animal, you'd say I'm a lion because I'm so brave and strong. No, I'm kidding. I would
For sure.
be a different animal, but you just think about what the animal would be like. A key quotation from chapter 3. That's up to you. You just pick a quote that you feel like was good and summed up the chapter. Now, this part's fun. Imagine this chapter had a playlist to set the mood. Choose 5 songs that would be on that list, right? So you just think of the mood of the chapter, like there's some danger, we have a fight, we have some flirtation as far as like Curly's wife, stuff like that. So you just think of what would set the mood here. Then the fight between Curly and Lenny and bullet points. I do real quick want to show the fight.
That son of a bitch is going after me. Get up. I'll show you, Shell. Get up. You got no call for that. Get up. Come on. Get up. Lenny, get up. Get up and fight. Get up and he ain't do nothing. Come on. Leave me alone. Cut it out, Curly. Come on, man. Get him, Lenny. Right back. Get him, Lenny. Get him. Slip. Help me. Let go of his hand. Come on, let go. Jesus. You told me to, George. You told me to. I know. Take it easy now. Gotta get him to the doctor. Carlson, get the wagon hitched up and take him into Soledad and get him fixed up. He didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to hurt him. It ain't your fault, Lenny. This punk had it coming to him. Yeah. Sam, is Curly's old man gonna can us now? Hey, you hear me? Huh? Hey, you hear me? I think you got your hand caught in the machine. Now, if you don't tell nobody what happened, we ain't going to. But you just tell and try to get this guy canned, we're going to tell everybody what really happened. You got that? Huh? Good. George, you and Whit, give me a hand. Come on.
So, on that part, you guys are just, summarizing the fight. Remember that, like, the whole reason why they did fight was because Carly came in, was in a bad mood. Lenny was smiling, thinking about the ranch, right? This ranch that they're going to have. And Curly, because he's got the Napoleon complex, he thought that Lenny was laughing at him. He knew that he wasn't going to take it out on anybody else. So he just walks up, takes it out on Lenny. And then, unfortunately, Lenny has that reaction. And we've seen that before where Lenny has a natural reflex, right? So, like, he crushes Curly's hand. But notice it's really he's just holding on to it and can't let go. And we saw that when we heard about the woman in Weed, right? Where she had that dress, he grabbed onto it and then couldn't let go.
He's got like an animal instinct,
Mhm. Yes. And then notice, so what do we learn about Slim through his conversation with George? So just think about that, the type of character that Slim is. Through George's conversation with Slim, what further insights do we gain into the dynamics of George and Lenny's relationship? So remember, George tells about when they were growing up, how he used to be mean to him, but he also sort of defends him, as very protective of him. How does the killing of Candy's dog portray the key topic of strength and weakness? So that, of course, was a really sad part in this chapter. The dog was old and frail, and they finally convinced Candy that that the dog needed to be killed, and so Candy lets them do that. And they tell him, you know, like they're gonna shoot the dog in the back of the neck, that way he won't feel a thing, and that they'll give him a proper burial. And there was one point where towards the end of the chapter, Candy, of course, said, you know, I should have shot my own dog. I ought not let somebody else shoot my dog. So Candy sort of regrets that. But then Candy does sort of join in, as question 4 says, why does Candy want to join in with George and Lenny's plans, right? So think about what the reason that Candy would, this old guy who only has one hand, and all he really does is he mops the floors all day. And then what does the fight between Lenny and Curly reveal about their characters, right? So think about Curly, what it shows us about him, and then about Lenny, like we already said. All right. So is there anything else you all want to add about chapter 3? All right. So that is chapter 3. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the 4 different types of isms, and a little bit of intro to chapter 4 that you'll be reading over the next couple days.
Yeah, don't get behind on your exit slips. Stay caught up.
Yes, because those are all due Friday by midnight.
Yes, they are.
See you guys.
See y'all.